She forgave the man who killed her sister. The true story of Corrie ten Boom. She stood face to face with the man who had killed her sister. And he asked her to forgive him. The same hands that once beat and mocked now reached out, trembling, open, asking for something she didn't think she could give. In that quiet church, years after the war, Corrie ten Boom discovered what forgiveness truly costs, and what grace really means. Before the darkness. Before the war, life was simple. The ten Boom family lived above their watch shop in Haarlem, Netherlands, a small, warm home, filled with prayer, laughter, and the constant ticking of clocks. Corrie worked alongside her father, Casper, repairing watches, listening to the rhythm of gears turning, a sound that meant order, peace, time moving forward as it should. Their faith was quiet but unshakable. They believed love wasn't just something you talked about on Sundays. It was something you did, something you lived, something that cost you. So when Jewish neighbors began disappearing under Nazi occupation, taken in the night, never seen again, the ten Booms didn't look away. They opened their doors. They built a hidden room behind a false wall in Corrie's bedroom. Small, cramped, barely enough space for 6 people to stand. But it became a sanctuary. A secret heartbeat of resistance powered not by hatred or politics or revenge, but by love. Each night, Corrie would kneel beside her bed and pray, "Lord, make our home your hiding place, too." And he did. For 2 years they saved lives, risked everything, trusted that love was stronger than fear, until the day fear came knocking. The knock at the door. February 28, 1944. A cold morning. Gray skies. The kind of day where you feel something coming before it arrives. The Gestapo burst through the door. Boots. Shouting. Guns drawn. Someone had betrayed them. The ten Boom home was torn apart. Furniture overturned. Walls searched. Guards everywhere. But the hidden room, the 6 people inside, remained undiscovered. They stayed silent, barely breathing, listening to the chaos just feet away. And they survived. But Corrie, her sister Betsy, and their elderly father did not escape. At the police station, the interrogator leaned across the table and asked Casper ten Boom if he knew the punishment for hiding Jews. The old man looked up, frail, worn, but his voice was steady. "If they come to me again tomorrow, I will open my door again." He died 10 days later in a prison cell. 84 years old. A watchmaker who had spent his life fixing broken things. And in the end, he died because he refused to let love be broken. Corrie and Betsy were sent east to Ravensbrück, one of the most brutal concentration camps in Nazi Germany, a place where hope went to die. Ravensbrück, the Valley of Shadows. Ravensbrück was hell on earth. Women stood for hours in freezing roll calls, starved, beaten, stripped of names and dignity. Death was everywhere. In the eyes of the guards, in the bodies that dropped and were dragged away like garbage. Hope was dangerous to carry here. But Corrie and Betsy carried it anyway. They had smuggled a small Bible inside, hidden in a pouch overlooked by every guard. A miracle in itself. Each night, in a dark, flea-infested barrack packed with desperate women, they would huddle close. And Betsy would whisper scripture in the shadows. Words like light, faint, fragile, but unextinguishable. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. In that place of death, they learned what it meant to truly live. When others cursed their gods, Betsy said, "Corrie, we must pray for them." Corrie couldn't. Not yet. Not while watching cruelty destroy everything she loved. Not while her body ached and her sister grew weaker every day. But Betsy never stopped believing that love was stronger than hate. That forgiveness was more powerful than bitterness. That even here, especially here, God was present. Betsy's last words. Betsy grew weaker each day. Her body was wasting away. Skin stretched over bones. Breaths shallow and labored. But her spirit was radiant. Even in suffering, she dreamed of hope. "Corrie," she whispered one night, her hand weak in her sister's, "we must tell the world. We must tell them that no matter how deep the pit, God's love is deeper still." Those were her final words. She died shortly before Christmas 1944, in a camp that had forgotten mercy. Her body was thrown onto a pile with the others. No ceremony. No mourning allowed. Just another number. Another casualty. But her faith did not die with her. It became a seed, planted deep in Corrie's shattered heart. A seed that would bloom later in ways she could never imagine. When Betsy's body was carried away, Corrie thought her own faith would die, too, until, weeks later, a miracle of paperwork opened the gates. A clerical error. A bureaucratic mistake. Every woman in her age group was executed days later. But Corrie walked out of those gates, thin, broken, haunted, carrying nothing but the faith her sister had left behind. Face to face with evil. After the war, Corrie began to speak. She traveled across Europe, sharing her story. Not for fame, not for applause, but because Betsy had asked her to. Because the world needed to know that even in the darkest pit, God's love was deeper still. One evening in Munich, she finished a sermon about forgiveness, about how God heals even the deepest wounds, about how bitterness only keeps us imprisoned long after the war ends. And then she saw him walking toward her through the crowd. A man, older now, balding, ordinary looking, but she knew him instantly. He had been one of the guards at Ravensbrück, the same man who had mocked the women as they stood naked in the showers, the same man who had struck them, laughed at their suffering, watched them die with cold indifference. And now he stood before her, humble, nervous, holding out his hand. "Fräulein," he said softly, "I was a guard at Ravensbrück, but I have become a Christian since then. I know that God has forgiven me for the cruel things I did there." He paused, his hand still extended. "But I would like to hear it from your lips. Will you forgive me?" Corrie froze. Time stopped. Every image came rushing back: Betsy's dying face, the cold, the cruelty, the laughter of the guards as women collapsed. She wanted to forgive him. She had just preached about forgiveness. But standing here, looking into the eyes of the man who had tortured her sister, she couldn't. Her hand stayed at her side, heavy, cold, unmovable. Her heart was stone. And in that moment, she understood something she'd never fully grasped before. Forgiveness isn't a feeling. It's a choice. A decision. A miracle that only God can perform through us. So she prayed. Silently. Desperately. "Jesus, help me. I cannot forgive him. I cannot lift my hand. Give me your forgiveness." And then silence. The kind of silence where heaven leans close, slowly, mechanically, like someone else was moving her arm. She reached out, took his hand. The moment their hands touched, something happened. Something she would describe later as an electric current running from her shoulder down through her arm. Warmth, light, a flood of something she didn't create and couldn't manufacture. Tears filled her eyes. Not tears of pain, but of release. And she heard herself say, "Meant it, truly meant it. I forgive you, brother. With all my heart." At that moment, she finally understood what Betsy had been trying to tell her all along. There truly is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still. Forgiveness was not something she could do on her own. It was a miracle, a gift, grace flowing through broken vessels. The legacy. Corrie ten Boom would go on to write her story in The Hiding Place, touching millions around the world. She never called herself a hero, only a servant of the one who rescues hearts from bitterness. Her life became proof that even when everything is stripped away, home, freedom, family, dignity, faith remains. and forgiveness becomes the door where light re-enters the soul. She lived to 91, spoke in over 60 countries, and never stopped telling the story of a love deeper than any pit. And whenever someone would ask her how she forgave the unforgivable, she would smile and say, "I didn't. Jesus did. I just gave him my hand." Comment below. God's love is deeper. Because sometimes, forgiveness isn't a feeling, it's a miracle. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Mustard Seed Stories, where every week, we share real stories of pain, healing, and grace. Stories that remind us, even in the deepest darkness, His love is deeper still.